Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/PettyRevenge. In today's episode, I-27F deleted my email off of FB after she wasn't happy about me being pregnant. Decided to troll an internet scammer and I think I accidentally hit the jackpot. Someone got mad at me at work because our orange trees have fruits and learned about other kind of fruits the hard way. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. I-27F deleted my email off of FB after she wasn't happy about me being pregnant. I had my baby a few months ago and my email has not been supportive. She doesn't talk to me and has told my husband that our child will never address her as grandma. MIL is very emotionally manipulative with a victim complex. I am not someone that placates her delusions of her being more important than she is. Our relationship is strained and we are low contact with her. My husband has gone to therapy over the years of emotional and physical abuse he had to endure from her. Over the weekend we went over to my husband's grandma's house for breakfast. Mael was there. After her ignoring me for most of the time, I heard my MIL and my husband's grandma talking in another language. I'm not fluent, but I can get by. MIL was complaining about me and husband's grandma told her she needed to be nicer to me. Mael began to cry saying I just can't do it, I just can't. She deleted me off of FB and I won't forgive that. My MIL is a very vain individual and needs the validation from FB to be able to function. I had deleted her off of FB after we announced at Thanksgiving my pregnancy. My parents hadn't been able to make it to Thanksgiving because Dad had broken his ankle. She was saying maybe your mom and dad didn't come this year because your dad's really beating your mom. I was stunned by this and told her that my dad broke his ankle. She said maybe they just said that to hide the bruises. In reality, I know she said this because she is divorced, big surprise, and she had been forced back to the US after her ex-boyfriend called immigration to get her kicked out of Scotland. But then my husband told her I was pregnant. We were met with silence, then a half-hearted congrats. My husband was crushed from her lack of response and I was done with her. I went to my FB that night and deleted her. She found out that she was deleted when she tried to tag me in a post about my pregnancy. She wanted the validation of likes she would get. Apparently when she saw I deleted her, she deleted her own FB account out of spite and now is miserable without being able to post. She doesn't like IG or Snap and FB was the only place she could get validation. I'm more than a little amused that she so desperately wants her social media but can't create another account without acknowledging that she deleted her last account out of spite and will do anything to save face. Go and see. She will poison all that she touches. Absolutely, her toxic golden age is over. She's drowning and she'll pull everyone within reach down with her. You couldn't have said it better. NC is the only way to fix this one. Misery loves company and she's really trying to get that company. She's right though. She should never be addressed as grandma because the two should never lay eyes on each other. My paternal grandfather was a self-absorbed asshole. My older brother was the first grandchild in our generation and my grandfather's namesake, my day is 3, bro is 4. On his first birthday, my grandfather called my dad not to say happy birthday to his first grandchild, but to tell my dad that he wanted my dad to pay him back some money he'd loaned our family. At that point, my dad made the decision that he'd rather we didn't know our grandfather at all than to know him and know he didn't give a shit about us. I never met the man. I was never even in his presence till I was a teenager, and I was at my uncle's house for my cousin's birthday. My uncle was the only child who stayed in contact with their father, and only because his mother was still married to the man. I was in the same house/same room as my grandfather and never met the man. He didn't care enough to get to know any of his other grandchildren. My dad was right, I think your kiddo will be just fine with their loving parents, and anyone else you deem worthy to be in their life, because those people will actually care about you, your husband, your family, and the kiddo. Your MIL need not apply. I cut of my mom when my 16-year-old was 2. After a lifetime of emotional abuse and putting up with her victim complex, she made a big scene in front of my son and showed her crazy. At that point in my life, I only had contact with her because of my, now, wife felt bad for her. So when she made my son feel the way I did as a kid, I said enough and kicked her out of our lives. 14 years later and I haven't talked to her once, and she has never met my 11-year-old daughter and 4-year-old son. Just because they raised you doesn't mean they deserve to remain in your life. You should post lots of happy family pics, how peaceful life is, post gifs and quotes about serenity and breaking toxic ties. Ha ha ha. She attends therapy and apologizes, signs a boundary list etc. before you'll even reconsider renewing a relationship, yeah? Decided to troll an internet scammer and I think I accidentally hit the jackpot. I got a spam text message, one of the obvious scam lead-ins, asking, "Hello, is this Jessica's phone?" I assumed it was a scam attempt, but to be civil I replied politely that it was not. Got a series of follow-up messages explaining their assistant must have copied the number incorrectly and apologizing for the inconvenience and introducing themselves and asking for my name. At which point I was certain that it was an attempt to scam me. So I said that I would not be providing my name and they continued to try to engage me in conversation. So I explained who I am, a parent with a child who suffered from a life-threatening illness, and that I had to spend staggering sums of money on her care, and since I had done him no wrong, why was he trying to defraud me of money? I kept coming back to this. Next time you look in the mirror, make a note that this is what a person looks like who tries to steal money from the parent of a sick child. I figured if there was any humanity there, I might get the chance to live rent-free in their head for a while. Or maybe even encourage them to take up a more honorable profession. An hour or more passed and they came back to me about how I was in the USA and our imperialism was responsible for all the world's problems, etc. At which point I replied that my assumption was that he was in China, and while I might not like how the Chinese government treats the people of Hong Kong, or Tibet, or its Uyghur population, that wouldn't justify my trying to steal from a random person in Shanghai. I sent that, and heard nothing further. I decided to follow up and troll a bit more and none of the messages went through. Then it dawned on me. I had said Hong Kong, Tibet, and Uyghur in the same sentence to a guy in China. I'm pretty sure that's the trifecta to hit their police state monitoring system, so he might be getting a bit more attention from the local authorities than he was really looking for. I don't know for sure and I probably never will, but it makes me feel good to know that I may have accidentally done just about the only thing that could cause the guy to get in trouble locally. Mandy? It's so good to hear from you. It's been a while. I want to thank you for your donation to the Taiwan Independence Fund. Your generous donation will go far in ensuring a free and independent Republic of Taiwan. Thank you for reaching out to me. I know you can get into a lot of trouble for using a VPN, but it was nice to talk with you about Falun Gong and how they are the best hope for China. I once spent a fun day trolling a scammer who was trying to get me to buy iTunes cards, scratch them and send pics of the codes. I was the stupidest person they ever met, I am sure. But they were so kind and so patient as I slowly learned how to take a photo on my phone and then how to send the pictures by email. So gentle with me, and all was okay. Until they opened up attachments that were photos of my middle finger. I'm going to start responding free Tibet to all these spam texts from now on. I had one, "Mom, this is my new phone." I replied, "Hi honey, it's lovely to hear from you after all these years, can you lend me a couple of grand?" Never bothered to reply to me oddly. Back when China was hosting the Olympics, the Great Firewall of China was opened up slightly. Chinese servers started appearing for a game I used to play that I'd never seen before. A brief distraction for teenage me was to connect to them and spam the group chats with free Tibet. A full server would empty in 10 seconds. It was bizarre. Someone got mad at me at work because our orange trees have fruits and learned about other kind of fruits the hard way. It didn't happen today, but I spoke with a friend about the garden. At my primary workplace we have a beautiful garden that people really love to visit. We allow it because it usually doesn't bother us. But once, when I got out to buy some extra milk for our office, a woman came to me. "Can I take some of your oranges? They are getting spoiled like that, such a shame that you don't pick them up." They're not oranges. They are dash. I don't believe you. I'll take your oranges because it's dangerous to leave them like that. What if they fall down and someone will fall because of them? I pick them from the ground every morning. And they are not dash. Don't you lie to me. I'll take how much that I can. I shrugged and wrote a message to my manager, warning her about our surprise in the garden so she won't be alarmed while I am at the store. "Here, I'll eat one now," the woman proclaimed. "I'd love to see you try." I chuckled. She took a bite. Yes, a bite. With the peel and all. And just as it entered her mouth, she spit it out angrily. "It's really dangerous. You should be ashamed of yourselves." "Ma'am dash. Don't you ma'am me. It's not oranges. I don't believe you. It's bitter orange. Bigarad orange. It's not a real thing." She yelled and stomped out angrily. Edit. I didn't explain here clearly what kind of fruits they are, and some people are, rightfully, confused. It's a fruit called bitter orange, also known as Seville orange. It looks very similar to a regular orange, but it has a very bitter taste. People can eat them, it's not poisonous, but it's not tasty at all. Out of the thousands of people I've encountered in the garden, I am pretty sure that only 2 of them really like to eat them raw. It's always used in an altered way marmalade, as an additive to cakes, beverages and many other kinds of food. I am pretty sure that you can get a full cookbook for bitter oranges here in the comments, which is totally awesome, by the way. As a southerner, it tickles me pink to hear English ain't my native language. Thanks for the pick-me-up. I learn English from old country music and Monty Python, so I take it as one of the best compliments I got lately. What was it? A bitter orange. It looks very similar to a regular orange, but it's very bitter. People usually use the fruit for marmalade. I think it's also known as Seville orange. Orange, you glad she didn't say banana? I just want to know who eats any kind of orange without peeling? I guess that people that come to a garden and yell at random people about how dangerous a bitter orange can be. But seriously, she looked a bit mentally ill and I do feel a bit sorry for her. I love Seville oranges. Best marmalade ever. You should offer her a quince as a peace offering, then let us know how she reacts when she bites into it. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.